to Sudbury News Talk.
I want to show you something.
Stand by. On the morning shift.
Anything
could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift. I'm AJ Walsh. Glad to be here with you. Thanks for being with us. I know we got off to a little bit of a late start this morning, and I do apologize for that, even though there was absolutely nothing we could have done to prevent it. And it's a miracle that we are actually on the air right now. I'll just let you know that there was about 17 different anomalies that we had to deal with this morning, but we did deal with them, and happy to say that we are here and we're live on YouTube, on Facebook, on CKLU, all three platforms. CKLU 96.7 on the radio, also streaming at cklu.ca, also live, you can download the Radio Player Canada from CKLU, also, and listen to us anytime, anywhere on your favorite device. We're also on youtube.com/Sudbury News, facebook.com/Sudbury News. Thank you to the Facebook monitors, YouTube monitors for being here, helping us to be on the show. We're grateful for the platforms. We're thankful for all the fine folks right here in Sudbury, CKLU, and allowing us to be on the radio each and every day and live streaming on these platforms. And so thanks for everyone for making this happen, making it possible, and including my co-host today, Billy, for helping make this show happen, not only from the beginning, but today getting on the air. Thanks, Billy. Appreciate that. And I hope you're having a good day this morning.
Oh, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's always good to get your brain going in the morning with troubleshooting, right?
It didn't really get going, but generally speaking.
No, but we had to think. Our brains had to actually do something, like more than just, sitting around and talking. Right. So we had to troubleshoot. But you probably troubleshoot in your sleep?
I just unplug stuff and plug it back in.
Yeah, exactly. You're a professional unplugger and plugger back inner. Thanks for being with us, everyone. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, comment, all that stuff, because it really does help the show get to as many people as possible. And that's what we're trying to do, is get this community conversation to as many people and get as many people involved as possible. And so we're going to try to get the comments here up on the screen. We really appreciate you commenting. It really does make the show far better to have your contributions. So we'll get it up on the screen here. Hopefully it's here. And we do have the comments working today, as far as I know. And so I'll do my best to read them on the radio, and you can see them if you're on Facebook Live. So without any further ado, we do have a weather warning we want to get to right away, and we'll get right to that. We'll be back with sports, and then Billy and I with headlines, and yourselves, and discussing the local current events and issues. We'll be right back. So there's weather happening today. There is an advisory for us here in Sudbury. It's currently -8, feels like -16. That's not the advisory. However, it is a little bit nippy. Greater Sudbury and vicinity winter weather travel advisory in effect beginning this afternoon. Hazards: total snowfall accumulations 10 to 15 centimeters. Reduced visibility with heavy snow and rapidly accumulating snow will make travel difficult. So, and that is the timing of this is the afternoon into early Friday morning. So starting this afternoon, overnight, and into Friday morning is when this is taking place. The reason being, there's a Colorado low apparently that's going to bring the snow beginning in the afternoon. It's expected to fall heavy at times through this evening before tapering to periods of lighter snow early Friday morning. Do all the necessary things in preparing and making sure that you're safe out there, especially when you're driving. Okay, so today we just said cloudy, snow at times, heavy, all that stuff. The wind is going to be gusting up to 40. Temperature steady near -5. Wind chill will feel near minus 15 for most of the day. Tonight, snow at times, heavy, local amount 2 centimeters, that's overnight, 10 centimeters altogether potentially in this advisory apparently. The wind will be moderate overnight, temperature steady near minus 6, and tonight the wind chill will be minus 14. Friday, tomorrow, cloudy, 60% chance of flurries in the morning and early in the afternoon. Wind north, 20 kilometers, gusting to 40, becoming light late in the afternoon. Temperature steady near minus 6, and the wind chill will feel like minus 14 and in the morning, and then minus 9 in the afternoon. So looking at the long-range forecast, you have, again, we just said tomorrow what we can expect. Saturday, cloudy, minus 4. Sunday, 60% chance of flurries, minus 3. Monday, mix of sun and cloud, high of minus 4. Minus 4 on Tuesday as well with cloudy periods. And then a chance of flurries on the Wednesday, which is basically pretty much a week from now. Hard to predict that. But look at the temperatures again. Minus 3 to minus 6. There's only a 3-degree difference for those 6 days forecast. So again, very moderate temperatures, but then you have a lot of precipitation happening. And just a really quick look at the satellite overhead. I watched a funny throwback to early Jerry Seinfeld. He was on the Smothers Brothers show, and he was talking about how kind of mundane showing a satellite image is. And so it really, what does it really tell you kind of thing? You just want to know what your weather is going to be like and how it affects you. And that's what we have already done. But if you want the bird's eye view, you got it here. And for those on the radio, it's just a lot of clouds with a few clearing areas in the far north, which has nothing to do with us in Sudbury. Total clouds for the total day, and there is that weather warning of snow. And so prepare the way that you need to. Weather brought to you by SudburyWeather.ca. We'll be back with sports right after this. Okay, the Sudbury Wolves were in action last night. I don't know if Billy keeps track of the road, Sudbury Wolves on the road or not. But
I get the headlines, yeah.
You get the headlines. That's awesome. Sudbury Wolves defeated the Niagara Ice Dogs in a makeup game. It was canceled earlier last month, just before Christmas, I believe, when tragically the player from the London Knights lost his life. And so a lot of the games in the OHL were canceled. What a game. It was like back and forth. The Wolves were ahead, and then the Niagara Ice Dogs would come back. A lot of goal scoring, as you can see, 10 goals in total in the game. But at the end of the game, the Wolves were able to come out with the win, 6-4. Congratulations to the Sudbury Wolves on that. The goalie had to be pulled. Backup goalie came in, did a stellar job. It happens every once in a while. But there are quite a few sports stories to go through today, so we're going to do our best to go through them quickly, as we did get off to a rather late start this morning. NOJHL, and I don't know why that's hard for me to say. Nodule, I'm going to call it from now on. NOJHL squad. The Sudbury Cubs continue to be ranked in the top 10 among junior hockey teams by the Canadian Junior Hockey League. And so that's pretty incredible to be amongst the top 10, let alone 7th in the whole country. So congratulations to the Sudbury Cubs for that, for continuing to be such a strong team in that ranking. Shoresy has been billed by Crave as the most watched Canadian debut in streaming services history. So Sudbury filmed Shoresy receives second season order, and that's not easy to do in the world of television, is to get another season, because usually the first season, that's where they feel it out. But I guess with a stellar record-breaking streaming season that it had, in its first season it contributed $4.8 million into the regional economy right here in Sudbury. So pretty great story all around with that one. Success story. Shorsey, the people that bring you, what's the name of the show again?
I know the one you're talking about.
Letterkenny.
Yeah.
Letterkenny. Yeah. Billy and I
It's a
both.
spin-off, right?
Yeah. So Shorsey's a spin-off from Letterkenny. What a great success story that is, to not only have one hit show, Letterkenny, and then have the second one. And there was another one, What Would Saul Do? And then it only had one season, and it was a spin-off from Letterkenny too. What a great storyline. There was one of the kids in the hall were in it. A lot of really great Canadian actors. If you ever get a chance to watch What Would Saul Do? It's one season. It was canceled after that. Filmed in Sudbury. Really kind of interesting storyline, and I thought that definitely should have got more seasons. For some reason, it didn't. Anyways. Other sports-related story. 2 Northern Ontario athletes represent Canada at the World University Games. Northern Ontario is being represented on the big stage right now as Carly Olivier from Sudbury and Maria Domenico from North Bay compete for Team Canada Women's Hockey at the FISU World University Games in Lake Placid, New York. So all the best to them and good luck. I know that Canada does great on the world stage. Just came off a gold medal from the under 18, the juniors. Basically, the women's version of the juniors. Canada won gold, the women won gold as well. So, yeah, and that's your Sudbury Sports, brought to you by SudburySports.com. It is Randy Pascal's sports website. He is that Sudbury Sports guy, and he has all things Sudbury Sports on SudburySports.com. Make sure to visit his site, and we'll be back with headlines and Billy right after this. Okay, and welcome back. We're here with Billy. We're going to be going through the headlines. Have you had a chance, Billy, to peruse at all this morning?
Yeah, I did. I kind
Excellent.
of made a little mental notes of like with the heavy hitters and the lighter pieces.
Heavy and light.
Would you like to start with something light or something
I'm going to start
that
with
we might do some deeper dives?
I'm going to start with something light and heavy at the same time. I'm just going to bring in all of the people that have checked in for the show this morning,
good
just to
idea.
give a shout out and good mornings to Claire. Good morning, Claire. And she gives a nice smiley emoticon there. Emoji. Emoticon or emoji? What would you prefer?
I think emoji. Emoticon is brand new, I think, coined by you.
Okay. Emoji, yes. Good morning, Claire. Good morning, David. Thanks for being with us this morning. Monique is checking in as well. Good morning. Thanks for being with us. Tracy, good morning. Yes. Stay safe. Drive with care. A little message there due to our weather warning. Brian Poulain is checking in. Good morning, Brian. Thanks for being with us. If you wanted to give me a text whenever you'd like to come back on the show and do a tech related segment, we'd really appreciate that. Also, Cliff, good morning, guys. Good morning, Cliff. Hope you're having a great day. And thanks for being with us, all y'all. Emoticon is from the days of MSN Messenger.
Okay.
I knew it had something. Good morning, Gilles. Thanks for being with us this morning. Great. So we have all y'all on, and we're going to be talking local events, issues, things like that, which Billy has already gone over. And I was wondering which ones to start with. I think I'm going to start with a sad bit of information here, unfortunately. There was an accident near St. Charles. And we'll just start with the CTV headline about it, and we'll be right back after this.
Good afternoon, and thanks for being with us this Wednesday. OPP say Highway 535 is closed in both directions from Hager to St. Charles after a 2-vehicle crash in the Marks Day Warren area. They say it happened before 7:30 this morning, and the highway is closed between Gervais Road and Northern Central Road. There is no word on the cause or extent of the injuries. Detours are in place.
So very sad news there. A 16-year-old, unfortunately, male from St. Charles area east of Sudbury was killed, and another person sustained life-threatening injuries after the head-on collision on Highway 535 yesterday morning. Police say we have no more details than that. The road is now open again. That was a story from yesterday. Very sad news, Billy.
It's awful.
A lot of accidents lately. What do you think the cause is? Remember the bus? Someone crashed into the bus on the same highway, I believe, as well, the day before that.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. How does it compare to like an average year? Are we past the normal average for accidents?
Well, since the year just began, right? We're 19 days in so far. I wouldn't have the information on that, but I just wonder. It just seems like, again, there's ways of doing studies, and one of them is getting third-party information where you can go and you can pay for it. It is first-hand information, but you're paying a third party to get information. That's like the news. Like, we're just reporting the news. We weren't there ourselves. We'll get stats from Stats Canada and things like that. But there's also ways of generating information on your own, just by your own experience, and just from, wow, it seems like there's more accidents lately, or there's more deaths, or there's more, like to say, wow, it seems like there's been more deaths in the city. Even if I didn't have the numbers, it just seems like covering the news, a lot of shootings, a lot of deaths, seems like there's a lot of crime, and that's basically what I'm kind of going off. It just seems like there's more accidents lately as we cover the news. And I don't know if you find the same thing or not.
I don't know, because I second guess my perception a lot.
There you go. Yes.
I like to use sort of both, put them both on the table and get a collective, because I think the news is sometimes a little bit, there's a disparage between what the news presents and the reality as well. So that's got to be kind of factored in as well too.
It does, yeah. No, you're right. And you need both. And at some point in time, this show will actually have more of that, because as we find a way to give more time to the show and make it less volunteer and maybe more to the point where there's a monetary aspect to it, so that way we can devote more of our time to it. It's going to be, because the whole day can be spent checking on facts, getting information, right? And then having that part of it as well. Right now, we're just relying on, which is great, local journalists, and the time we're able to get into it to unpack it. So that's why there's a lot of just talk about issues and a conversation, because, that's basically, it's a weird format for this show. It's a little bit of news, a little bit of talk, a little bit of community, weather and sports. And you know what's funny? There's a few people that will just tune in for the weather, because it's right at the beginning of the show, and it's something they can just put on while they're getting ready, and they know what time it's going to be, because it's going to be right at 7:30, and it's the beginning of the show, and then weather right away, and they'll just listen to that, and then they go on with the day. So I always thought it was weird that the weather is the first part of the show, because no other show does that. Usually weather's at the last, at the end of a show. But it is interesting, and I just thought, if that's at least some value we can bring to someone's life, I thought that is pretty cool. I don't mind that. I think that's right on.
You've got the niche there.
Got the niche. I'm the weather guy. So there's also, Paul in says that's exactly right. Yes, and that's you're one of the people that I was referencing. So that's so cool. Really neat. Speaking of people that I know, here is Karen Thistle. She wrote a play, and it's being performed at the SDC, and it's called Calling the Rock Home. It's about Newfoundlanders coming to work in Sudbury mines. So I used to work with Karen Thistle in my previous career, and I did know she was creative. I knew she had a creative side, and I knew she also had a show here on CKLU. She was the beginning of 6 Degrees. She was a co-host on 6 Degrees.
Okay.
So she was part of the making of that show. And so I did know that she was involved with arts and with the CKLU, but here she is. She's got a play now, and it's going to be performed at the STC. That's pretty cool. I wonder when that will be. January 19th, that's today. Staged readings are an opportunity for audiences to participate in the development process of new Canadian work. Okay. In Thistle's piece, 3 young men leave Newfoundland homes to come and work for Inco, the nickel mining giant of Sudbury, Northern Ontario. The year is 1968, and these men must decide if they can make this dangerous work a barren rock home. The stage reading features performances by local actors Colton Gobo, Joel Giroux, and Matthew Heidi. The performance runs 7 p.m. At 7 p.m. at the Sudbury Theatre Centre, and tickets are available online. And the link is right there if you go on our Facebook and you just click on the story. It's a Sudbury.com article, so you can go there as well, and you just click there to purchase tickets. So I guess it's a read through, I guess, right?
It sounds like it, but it reminds me of was it Miles' story about his wife when he moved here and how she cried for 2 weeks.
Yes.
No, please don't.
Where
please don't
am
decide
I
to live here?
Yeah. Why am I here? Mm-hmm. What am I doing? I think a lot of people had that impression of Sudbury, especially back in the day when it was just black rock, right, with no trees whatsoever, and it just looked like desolation. It looked like if you were in Hades, this was probably it, and it basically it was like Sodom and Gomorrah. What resulted because it was brimstone and fire that created and sulfur that burned everything away. So what's the difference? It was like hell.
And the slag pouring was still part of the PR, so you still get the image of Sudbury as like this fiery.
Yeah, exactly. Just all hell and fire, and exactly. The slag went with it. So, anyways, congratulations to Karen on that. I think that's really cool. Glad that she's doing that, and get tickets, get out and see it. It's Sudbury related content. We have creators here in Sudbury doing some really great things. And speaking of that, Sudbury Theatre Centre welcomes all auditions for 2023 season. Sorry, for the 2023 season. And it's part of the Sudbury Theatre Centre / Yes Theatre. They're holding auditions all next week. The group is looking forward to singers, actors, musicians, and non-performers to be involved in 6 productions in 2023. Alessandro Constantini, artistic and managing director, said everyone is welcome to the audition, even Billy. Yeah, it says even Billy right there.
I guess they lifted the ban.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a joke, by the way. Billy has not been banned from the STC. All types of folks, young people, old people, everything in between, for a really exciting and fantastic season at the Sudbury Theatre Centre, Constantini said. You don't have to be a singer to get involved, even if you don't think you're a singer. There's a lot of plays we're doing during the season. We're doing Shakespeare. Oh, that'd be interesting. I guess you and I are out of that one with our having to, when you do Shakespeare, you have to memorize a lot.
Yeah.
Like more than the average play. You got to memorize no matter what play you're in, but Shakespeare just takes it to a whole other level. We're looking for people from all different types of abilities. 2023 lineup includes Jersey Boys. Oh my goodness. Have you seen that movie yet, Billy?
I haven't.
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to. It's a cross between Goodfellas and Grease.
I think I'd like it.
Goodfellas and Grease, exactly.
I've read a lot of music industry stories about this gray area between the music industry and the mob kind of thing. So
yeah,
is it?
It's like
kind of on target. Yeah.
Well, they start off because they're street thug kind of guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's the real life Joe Pesci. He is friends with one of the guys, the main singer, Frankie Valli, who's the main singer for the Four Seasons group.
Mm-hmm.
And they're the ones that sing, walk like a man, talk like a man. Anyways, you know that voice? He's got that really high-pitched, squeaky voice. And Sherry.
Oh, yes.
And Big Girls Don't Cry.
Yeah. Can you do a little
No, I'm
bit
not
of Sherry for us?
I'm already surprised I even went out there and did that.
It sounded great, by the way.
Sure. Anyways, so that's Jersey Boys. I can't believe it. So Joe Pesci, the real Joe Pesci, was friends with Frankie Valli. It's a real life story of that, the movie version. Anyways, I don't know if that's going to be in the play that the STC is going to be putting on this year. But so they were kind of involved with nefarious things as young people. And then the Four Seasons went off to stardom, and Joe Pesci got his start as an actor. And so it's really kind of neat. It's a really great story, really great music. Obviously, the music kicks, and the music, the sound, and everything in the movie is very cool. And then they came out with a hit in the 70s. Oh, what a night!
Oh, that was them.
That's them.
That is the biggest wedding classic song.
Is it?
Yeah.
So again, like, and it's, see how you're kind of surprised it's them. I was too in the movie. I was like, they have so many hits, so good. And anyways, there's more, and I'm not even going to try singing anymore because I've already done the damage. So along with Jersey Boys, they're going to be performing Romeo and Juliet, Forever and Always, the music of Shania Twain, Matilda, Curious Incident of the Dog in the Night Time. That's an interesting name. Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. I just want to go see that just because of the title. And Joseph in the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. Are they ever going for it this year with that lineup? That's a great lineup. Wow. They're going to kick it. And you can have the opportunity of getting involved. So they're having auditions. This is the second season since Yes Theatre and Sudbury Theatre Centre merged. Constantini said in 2022, they broke records. 16,000 patrons this past season. Youth classes are taught, and there's a record high attendance for those. And we've done a lot of renovations to the physical space at the Sudbury Theatre Centre. So yeah, here's a chance. Get down, try out, get involved. It's a way to get involved. Speaking of getting involved, they have prolonged the deadline to get involved with the city of Greater Sudbury. Oh, I thought I had the story there. Going searching. Here it is. Deadline extended for advisory panel applications.
I think I remember Natalie Labby talking about that. Eh?
Yeah, getting involved. You can sit on a committee in the city, that rhymes, and have your voice heard instead of being like us, being all crotchety and complaining all the time about things. You can actually go in and make a difference, and your voice can actually be part of solutions, right? So if you're thinking of having your 2 cents included in advising City Hall, this is your chance. They've announced that they're extending the deadline for people to apply to sit on one of the municipal advisory panels. New deadline to apply has been extended to the January 30th, 4:30 p.m. So what is that? 10 days away? 11 days away? So you got time. They're looking for people to sit on the following panels. So if you got your pen and pencil, paper ready, Bell Park Advisory Panel, Community Safety and Well-Being Advisory Panel, Solid Waste Advisory Panel. That's one that I should think about going on.
Did they Zoom these out, or do you have to go to an actual meeting?
I think they include Zoom, as far as I know. But yeah, that's a good question. If they Zoomed it, I think they'd get a lot more people because of the, we all have busy lives and things, right? So if it was Zoomable.
Mm-hmm. And we all feel more powerful behind our keyboard.
Possibly I don't. I feel more intimidated on an online meeting than I do in person for some reason. I don't know what it is. It's just, I guess if I speak up and I don't know if people, I don't know, I can't really read them as well as what I'm saying. They're rolling their eyes or not, or what. So it's, yeah. But yeah, there are really great aspects to Zoom too. And I like the time thing. And you can wear no pants still, right? Stuff like that. There's 3 ways to apply. Online, greatersudbury.ca/sign on. greatersudbury.ca/sign on. That's where you can go. Or calling 311 to request by mail. I don't know if you'll have time to do that because you'll call today, it'll get mailed to you, and then you'll try and mail it back, and you'll be late. So I don't think that option is there. But in person, you can go at your nearest library/citizen service center or at the one-stop services counter at Tom Davies Square. Cliff commenting here, I'm on the advisory committee in my household. Now ask me how much my opinion gets used. Is the city any better? Yeah, good point, Cliff. Yeah, I think we're all on their household advisories, and I think we definitely feel your pain. Yeah, does anyone take us seriously? Even our own family, probably less seriously than anyone else. Okay, so sticking with the city, we got themes going on here, which is great today. Greater Sudbury councillors will have to cut over $18 million to keep the tax hike at the promised 3.7%. Rising inflation is making the city much more expensive to run. Surprise, surprise. I guess they're dealing with high inflation just like all of us. It's the same thing, right? Things cost more, period. And they're getting more and more expensive. So they're going to have to cut $18 million. Do you think they can do that, Billy, without sacrificing a lot of
I don't even really know their past record. Have they been able to... they must have like situations like this in the past.
Yeah.
Were they successful?
Sometimes yes.
Down?
Sometimes not.
Yeah. So I like that they put in a lot of numbers in this article.
Anything stand out to you?
Well, nothing jumps out. Like if they were to ask me, what would I cut?
Yeah, what would you cut, Billy?
I have no idea.
Well, that's helpful.
Yeah. So.
Well,
what would you cut?
City salaries are at a record high. I think there's 60% just city salaries alone.
Okay.
The most in Canada, or the most out of any municipality of its size, or most out of any municipality.
Yeah.
So the ratio of just salaries compared to other things. So one thing you might want to look at is streamlining the people that work for the city and see if those are all, like, we need a city audit is what we need. We need an audit. But our new mayor has said, do we really need an expensive, overly priced audit? It's just going to cost way more money. That's what he said. So no audit. So we'll continue to do more and more of the same, expecting different results, which we all know what definition that is. Okay, are we not the city that pays 47% to employees? I thought it was even higher than that. I know we gave the number at the time, and so I'll have to go digging. Again, I thought it was more than that. It could be 47%. Either way, it's the highest out of any other similar municipality. Cut redundant management positions, Miles says. And I hope your manager's not listening to this show or watching. Right, Miles? Okay, good morning, Sudbury. That was me, mutter that bawled for 2 weeks, Billy.
Okay. Yeah, that story really sticks with me.
Tracy says, kind of hard for the city to complain about loss of revenue when they discourage big new ideas that would keep Sudbury money here. Example, KED for one. Thank you, Tracy.
Yeah. Speaking to what you mentioned, Archer said staff are recommending vacancy management process, which is a new term to me, whereby employees who retire or otherwise leave will not be replaced.
Yeah.
So it's a slower, less painful attrition process,
Yeah,
I guess.
which probably takes about 50 to 60 years to accomplish. But yeah, but what are you going to do? Go around firing everyone? You know what I mean? That's pretty harsh too. But at the same time, an audit would at least allow us, like you were saying, what are the numbers? Do we know how many more accidents there are? And I'm like, I think, and that's the way the city's functioning. I guess I'm not sure. We'll keep doing this. But an audit would get the numbers for us to look at and see our holes, see our things that we need to improve. I didn't say what departments, just a general comment. Yeah, that's true. Yes. And it is true. And that's one of the things that Laurentian was kind of exposed that they had way too much administration, we paid way too much, and what did they actually do? It was very unclear, right? So lots of management, administration, paid too much, not even sure what they were even doing. So is the same true in the city? I would go out on a limb and say possibly, for sure. Judy says, what do the outline areas get for tax dollars? Yeah, that's good too, right? An audit would show all of that. Like, why don't we have everything that's transparent? And then moving forward, this is what I came up with, and I really do think it is the future. Maybe after we get over this, if we can weed out all the people that hate transparency, and we all know why they do. But once we have a bunch of people that love transparency, a website that is just in real time, and whenever you enter anything financial, it goes up live on a website that's easily accessed for anybody in the community to see. And at any time, I can go on and search how much money, and even the data, I'm able to get the data. Okay, well, how much money was spent between, and have a filter between 2015 and 2021. And I can get the results right away. I can get any answer of any financial thing done in the city, because we do have the technology easily to do that. So why isn't that for the citizens? It's our city. It's our tax dollars. It's for us. So why wouldn't we have the accessibility to all of that? Yes or no, Billy?
Yeah, I think that's coming. And I think I hear a lot of kind of incorporating blockchain technology into the way things are run. So
that's neat.
And the great thing about blockchain is that it is very hard to manipulate. When a transaction happens, it's instantly reflected in across the spectrum in everyone's account, so everyone can see kind of in real time what's happening.
So that same idea.
So that idea.
Right on. I like that. Cliff saying, wasn't there an audit done a few years ago that Biggest went out of his way to ignore? Possibly, yeah. Well, I think he was the last one to do an audit myself. I think he was the dude. A Dean Martin song, Too Many and Not Enough. Won't say the actual lyrics, which today would offend. Dean Martin, are you familiar with your Dean Martin songs, Billy?
I do know.
Too many ... and not enough ...
No, I'm not sure about that one.
Well, I'm sure I would know it. It's just right now our brains are morning brains, and they're just starting to get going. Bigger, not bigot. That's funny. Mayor Bigot. But he meant to say bigger. Some people mean to say things like that, so you never know, right? But I said bigger anyways, I think. Or biggest, I might have said. Spending $14.1 million on the Junction East Cultural Campus as approved by council in previous budgets. Sudbury Star reporting that. Not something that is needed at the time, in my opinion. There you go.
What is that? Is that the library?
I don't know. Junction East Cultural Campus. Sounds different than the Junction East project of the $100 million library. Maybe the $14.1 million is the city's contribution into it. I don't know. But yeah, millions and millions being spent. Sometimes, it's looked at if it's not politically whatever wanted, it's turned down. And sometimes it's just turn a blind eye if it's something that everybody wants for some reason. It doesn't seem like they use the same formula for everything. Indigenous people reference from Dean Martin. Oh, I didn't know. Okay. Yeah. Hopefully we got time to do a little deep dive this morning. But there are contractors endeavoring to contain oil spill at Ramsey Lake. Have you heard anything about this? It's been in the news all day yesterday, and I didn't even want to share it. Because I'm like, okay, oil spill, Ramsey Lake. They're advising people if you take your water right from Ramsey Lake, which I wouldn't advise anyone to do anyways, even if there is no oil in there. There's an oil spill. So
800 liters.
800 liters of oil. Where did it come from? Any word on that at all?
Residential property.
A residential property.
Near Ramsey Lake. Huh. So far, none has been detected in the water itself, according to ministry officials. But yeah, it escaped from a tank. So I guess just one person's tank, can spoil the whole lake.
but it makes news. So, and a lot of it, every news source covered it yesterday. And there's even a company that's out there got the stuff in the water just in case, I guess.
Yeah.
But couldn't it seep underground? Like, couldn't it go into the ground and then under the ground into the water? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oil?
Yeah.
Not sure.
I'm not too sure. It probably floats. Does it float?
Yeah, I think you see that stuff on the top, right? The rainbow color on the top of the water. So yeah, that's what, but I don't know if it entirely floats or not. I know somewhat it does. That way we can see it. Here's a little bit of, I guess if you're speaking industrial and pollution, segue to a story that the mill in Espanola is uncertain as Domtar continues plans to sell. And they say, we'll continue to update everybody as we gain new information. So apparently, and this is what I heard through the grapevine, they, because they have a monopoly and they're expanding, the government says, well, you can't keep expanding without, letting go of a few of your plants. And so I guess after they bought in a few other plants around the world, they have to discard some. And I guess this was the one that made the most sense for them to have to sell off. Supposedly. So we'll see if that's going to go ahead or not.
That didn't make sense to me. The government said you've got too many, get rid of some.
Yeah, because there's monopoly laws out there. If you own too many, it's like the Rogers and Shaw merger. They're saying that goes against competition laws because then if there's not enough competition, then prices go up. But in that case, it doesn't make any sense because we have the most expensive cell phone rates in the world, and all the excuses they give us make no sense because they say it's our vast country and there's lots of infrastructure. Yet Australia is just as big and just as vast and just as, has, the same geography to cover and the same infrastructure. And they're like 35%, 50% lower prices than ours here. So I guess they have these laws in concept, but they don't really do anything. I guess they're just a thing.
I don't know. There might be kind of selective application of them.
That's
too,
what I mean.
Right?
Exactly.
Seems like there's a lot of monopolies out there.
There are a lot, and the world's a big monopoly game. That's all it is. The story of the Rockefellers with Imperial Oil back in the day. The government came in and said, you got to split up. You can't. So they just made a bunch of companies and owned them all instead of just owning one company. So the perception was to people, there's a lot of companies, there's a lot of competition, but no, they own them all. So again, it's like they have the rules, but they're just there, like they can just pick and choose when they use it and when they don't, and who has to abide by them and who doesn't. No cause oil is lighter. Oh, oil is lighter. That's why it floats. Okay. It won't go down into the ground and then come up. Probably the cleanest spot on the whole lake now. That's funny. I'll appreciate your senses of humor. It really does keep things light. And but I guess a lot of the people working at Domtar in Espanola, some of them are worried. Some of the people who are just applying now to get in are like, oh no, if I get on now what? You know what I mean? They're just going to sell, and you never know what your future is going to look like after. But it wouldn't be the first time, right, Billy, that mill has gone up for sale in history.
Who owned it before Domtar? Has it been like about 20 years now?
E.B. Eddy was one.
Right. Yeah.
There was other owners before that. There were owners before E.B. Eddy and quite a few. Yeah. So the office that I work from is right beside. They have a little park they made, and then on the fence they have all the history of Espanola on there, and there's a lot of it to do with the mill and when it first started and who was involved. So who built it was a totally different company, and then was bought a few years after that, and then 20 years after that. So it's gone through quite a few hands over the years.
Mm-hmm. And there's kind of a legendary story in town that it was a prisoner of war camp during World War II.
Yes, you're right, it was. And just want to say thanks to Cliff for being with us. He says he's going out of coverage area now, so he's not going to get reception. So he just wanted to say ciao.
Oh, thanks for joining.
And Miles says the Rockefellers had big fights with governments, and President Roosevelt passed the first antitrust laws back in the day. Yeah, you remember the Rockefellers were taken to court because they conspired to get rid of all of the streetcars. Remember, they run on electricity, right? So they owned oil and had no use for electricity. And they had a plan to get everyone to use cars. And instead of, these public transit systems that were run on electricity. And so they were found guilty in court of conspiring to get rid of all the streetcars. As you see, it's very rare, right? San Francisco is known for having streetcars. Sure, Toronto has streetcars, but they're very rare. And a lot of the cities have done away with them.
Mm-hmm. Sudbury had a streetcar too.
Sudbury had streetcars. All major cities had streetcars. So the Rockefellers were found guilty of being a big part, because they had a lot of money, a lot of influence, of getting rid of streetcars. They were found guilty, and guess what the punishment was to the Rockefellers for being found guilty of doing this?
I've seen this documentary. I know the answer. Was it $100?
$1.
Oh, okay.
They were charged $1.
Yeah. What was the name of that? The corporation, right? That was
the corporation
segment in the corporation. Yeah,
for sure.
Documentary called The Corporation came out, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So awesome.
It is very good. Eye-opening. So cool. Unfortunately, the creators of that went extremely woke and made part 2. And it's really a hard watch, the second one. Because it's basically, do whatever corporations tell you or else. It totally flipped it around. But part 1 is fascinatingly amazing. And speaking of that, did we get through all the stories today, Billy? I think so, eh?
I think so.
Yeah, I think we did. It's cool. But speaking of that, of corporations telling us what to do, there's maybe we'll talk more about it tomorrow. NHL, there's a very controversial a Russian player on the Philadelphia Flyers. They had Pride Night in Philadelphia, and he refused to wear the Pride jersey. So I thought of you right away, Billy, in that Seinfeld episode where what's his nose didn't want to wear the
ribbon.
Yeah. And everyone got on him, and there was like a mob on him because he just didn't want to wear the ribbon. He supported the cause and all that stuff, but he would do something, but everyone wanted him to wear the ribbon. So this was similar. Everyone wanted him to wear that jersey, and the media, just like wolves, went in and ate this guy alive. You're hate, you're a Nazi, you should be expelled from the NHL. You should never play again because you refuse to wear the jersey for religious reasons, he cited. And then that's all he said. He goes, I believe everyone has the freedom of choice. I believe in everyone's cause and the right to act on your cause and everything like that. And I believe I should have the same right. But no, he doesn't, according to the media, have that same right. He has to wear the ribbon, just like in that Seinfeld episode. And they went to town on him. And I only heard one news source, and that was Tucker Carlson act in his defense. And he had on a black radio show host who was talking about how far this stuff has gone, this all-inclusive diversity thing, but how hypocritical it is. We're all-inclusive, safe environment. This guy's a Nazi for not wearing a sweater. Kill him. How hypocritical is that? We want him to be all-inclusive and diverse and all this. And he says he is, but he just doesn't want to wear a sweater. But now kill him, because we want everyone to be safe and feel all-inclusive and all diverse. We don't accept his diversity, though. So only certain diversities, apparently, we don't want the list of what diversities are accepted and who is able to feel safe in this new world of everybody's supposed to be feeling safe. And do we all have to wear the ribbon, or we're killed or cast out or canceled? Do you have to wear the ribbon? Do you have to wear a poppy? I remember one person being canceled because he was saying everyone should wear a poppy, but he was canceled for saying that. And because this guy doesn't want to wear a shirt, he should be canceled. So where is there hypocrisy in this at all, or is it just me? Is it just me, Billy?
I think you're absolutely right about that.
Yeah.
There is kind of a scary, kind of authoritarian precedent to just getting a mob onto people. People should be a little more live and let live, people are going to have different opinions and they're going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
And people should be free to make mistakes. They should be free to have the wrong opinion, you know.
Correct.
If they're, you know, especially if they are of that sort of live and let live thing too, where they just let me be, you be you, I'll be me.
Yep.
And, you know, but I think when people are sort of forced, it gets very sort of Stalin-esque, where,
For sure.
you know, if you remember the stories about Stalin, how when he'd do a speech, there'd be like really long clapping for like 20 minutes.
Exactly.
You couldn't be the first one to stop clapping because
everyone was afraid
you
to be the first
taken
one.
away.
Exactly. To stop clapping.
Yeah.
I know.
And it's kind of like a little bit of that going on here.
There's a lot of that going on here. And I just want to publicly state that if you're going to preach all inclusivity, you're speaking words, but your actions are saying the opposite. You're saying all inclusive with your lips and the air that's coming out, but you're not all inclusive. You're only inclusive to those that agree with you. And that is not all inclusive. I just want to say that, and I'm going to keep saying that, and I'm going to hold you to your own standard, because I am all inclusive. I am diverse. And I'm sick and tired of being told that I am the opposite when I'm not, and you're the opposite. The people that are on this hockey player who's just following his heart and his convictions, and he's not doing any damage to anyone, and he should be allowed to be included and shown the love that you're talking about, that you wanted him to wear the sweater in the first place for. Show him the love. Don't show him the hate. And with that, we got to let it go. Thanks, Billy, for being with us today.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone, for listening. Thanks for being on the show. Thanks for commenting. It's the old ancient Romans mobocracy. That is Miles. So, yeah, we got the last word from Miles. Stay tuned now for Earshot Daily on CKLU 96.7 FM. And the words and expressions on this show are only those of Sudbury News Talk, not of that of the Laurentian University or those of CKLU. I just want to say that, make that very clear, and also make it very clear that Earshot Daily is coming up right after this. Thanks, Billy. Have a good one, everyone. Ciao.
This is Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.